Yes, people, what's going on, man? We're back with another preview, man. Back with the bridge. Chelsea v Spurs. Listen, this is a game that I always look forward to, man. I can't lie. Over the years, we've always dealt with Spurs, man. I can't even lie to you. So it was painful last season when we went away and we lost that game. I think we even lost that game 2-0 under Graham Potter. Crazy times, man, because Spurs, their fan base are just unbearable. Another unbearable bunch. You know, so deluded, so loud. I just have nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing to show for it. You know, the only thing I've seen Spurs win in my lifetime is what, a Carabao Cup in 2008? Robbie Keane and them, man. Do you know what I'm saying? But let me not slander them too much, man, because we've got a job to do later on. Do you know what I mean? And apologies for the lateness, people. I was actually in the office yesterday. I was meant to be going live today with George, but unfortunately, he has to go into the office as well. So obviously, work comes first. But yeah, I said, listen, let me chop it up beforehand anyway, because we've got a lot of things to speak about, man. There's a few things going on at the minute. I'm seeing banners for some people that should not be getting banners. Do you know what I'm saying? We'll chop that up. More injuries. This is why I keep telling you, lot, nothing's going to change this season, because again, we've got 14 people now out injured. Yeah, you can put out a team and then have people on the bench. The amount of people who've got injured at the minute. Crazy stuff. You know, more Pochettino quotes as well in the presser, fighting against the fans at the minute. Do you know what I'm saying? But first of all, people, make sure that you smash up the likes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. You know, let me know your prediction as well for the game. I will go through the team that I would put out later on and what I think Poch is going to do, and obviously how we can beat Spurs and what Spurs are going to try and come and do at the bridge later on, man. But listen, I think the first thing that I wanted to speak about, because I haven't actually touched up on this as of yet on my channel, is Thiago Silva. Listen, all-timer. Chelsea came out of a video this week where he basically came out speaking for like 4 minutes straight, really emotional, speaking about his time at the club, his appreciation for the club, obviously speaking about the fact that he didn't expect to even stay this long, and neither did I, to be honest, because when we signed this guy, he was, what, 36? A lot of people were trying to tell me, oh, this guy's finished, he's on his last legs. And I kept telling them, listen, you see Thiago Silva, when you watch him, he doesn't look his age because his IQ is unbelievable. Yeah, the way he reads the game, you know, the way the leadership qualities that he carries on the ball as well, so composed. He never panics. Do you know what I mean? He's never been the quickest guy, but again, just the way he reads the game, similar to John Terry in a way, allows him to not be in crazy situations. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's been a crazy journey with him, man, because I remember the first game that he played for us, I think we even played West Brom that game. I need to double check this after, and he had a stinker. You know, so many people were laughing at the time. I remember I was thinking, Jesus Christ, have we signed ourselves you know, remember when Falcao came Chelsea? I remember that. Is it one of those situations? But I said, nah, man, this guy's an all-timer. He's gonna bounce back. And after that, the guy was just flawless. You know what I'm saying? Won the Champions League with us, UEFA Super Cup, and the Club World Cup as well. And listen, he should have won a lot more, because we got to two Carabao Cup finals with him. We got to an FA Cup final with him. You know, all lost to Klopp and Liverpool, which is crazy. This guy should have even more trophies. But listen, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure watching him at my club, man. This is a guy, like I said, that I've always admired as a footballer. I really respect him. And the fact that he basically finished his career at Chelsea at the highest level was crazy. I don't know where he's going to end up now. Maybe he'll go back to Brazil. I've seen a few things here and there that his family is going to stay in London, which goes to show that they've made it home, man, because both his sons play for Chelsea as well. So you never know, in the future we might have Thiago Silva reincarnated, because when you watch his son playing, I think he plays at centre-back as well, they're very similar with how they play. I can't lie. How they run, how he reads the game as well. I've seen how he slides as well, intercepts passes. He looks good. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him, man. But listen, Thiago Silva, thank you every time, man. Thank you every time. And like you said, once a blue, always a blue, man. And listen, it was a good game yesterday, man. Good bit of Champions League football yesterday. Dortmund versus PSG. Of course, I had to tune in to support my boy, man. My boy Ian. You know, this is a guy that I kept talking about in pre-season, bro. And I kept being shut down as always. Oh, Don, you're deluded. What's Maatsen done? Oh, how's he going to get on the Prem? The guy's so small, he ain't going to do anything. You need experience. You need Ben Chilwell. You know, he's your vice captain. He's going to step up. He's the one that you need to play. Maatsen can hold bench. Who are these guys that you keep mentioning? Everyone just kept laughing at the time. And I kept saying at the time, listen, this guy in pre-season was our best player. And again, people will tell me preseason means nothing. And I always tell these people, I always take something out of preseason. It's not my be all end all. I don't, look at preseason and think, oh, we're now gonna go win the league because we've had a good preseason, or oh, we're gonna be amazing this season because we've had a good preseason. There's a lot of work to do in the season away from preseason, but it's a good way for you to see the players that you've got, especially new players. It's a good way for you to see what the manager that you've got, especially with a new manager, to see what style is trying to implement. Because when I was watching, Spurs in preseason, I could clearly see that Ange was a manager that had a clear style of play, and it was completely different to what Conte was doing because Spurs wanted to be on the front foot. Do you know what I mean? And I could see that with Ian Maatsen. And funny enough, this guy was not playing at left back in preseason. Poch was actually playing him on the wing. He played him left wing and he played him right wing as well. And I think he bagged in every single game that he played in as well. Do you know what I'm saying? For me, he was our best performer in preseason. I would say he was top 3. Santos was top 3 as well. But Ian Maatsen, I said, this guy needs to get opportunities this season. Yeah, and I've said from day one, I've got a lot more time for Ian Maatsen and Lewis Hall than I have for Cucurella and Ben Chilwell. Before Ben Chilwell was even showing the world what he is at the minute. This guy's just grenade football and he's not good enough. And it makes me sick. It makes me sick that we've actually got rid of Maatsen and he's going to get sold now for profit. And we're keeping Ben Chilwell. I don't know what's going on with him. And Cucurella, for me, I think is a good player. I think he's a squad player. But we need an upgrade on him. And keeping Maatsen would have saved us so much money. So much money, because this guy would have been playing for us. And for me, he would have kept that place. He would have kept his place. I kept saying it at the time. Don't worry about his height too much. You're worrying about the other team too much. Worry about us and how he's going to help us play better. Having Ian Maatsen in our team would have changed the dynamic completely. Completely, because Levi Colwill, week after week, getting cooked over there. You know what I'm saying? Feeling uncomfortable over there. I even remember against Spurs, when we played Spurs away. First few seconds, Levi getting caught by Kulusevski and getting done up. But then Poch will play him there again the following week and play him there again the following week. I remember the game against Brighton. The game against Brighton when Gallagher got sent off in the first half. He brought in Ian Maatsen and played him at right back, actually. Yeah, because Disasi was getting cooked over there. Brought him on at right back to help against Mitoma. Locked up Mitoma. What happens the following game? Dropped again. Dropped again. Listen, it's a business thing right now. Obviously, the club are going to sell him for the profit. But for me, this has mainly been on Pochettino. He's the one that decided not to play him. If he was playing Maatsen and Maatsen was playing really well, because like I said, he's the sort of profile that the owners like. I've spoken to you guys before about the sort of profiles that the owners like. They like a lot of technical players. In build-up, Maatsen, he gets the ball. He's really comfortable on it. He's able to invert into midfield. He when he sees the pass, he just plays it. And then overlapping runs as well. He's good at that. He's got a good eye for a pass. Do you know what I'm saying? He's quite a technical player. So when I look at him, I look at a player that if he didn't play for Chelsea would be looking at a player like him because he's young, and he's quite technical, like I said. So if he was getting opportunities that Poch didn't want to give him because of fucking Ben Chilwell, then for me, in my opinion, he would have kept his place, and we wouldn't have to go spend more money now, because we're going to have to go spend money on the left back now. It's very clear that we're going to have to go spend money on the left back. There's no way that they're going to go into the season with Ben Chilwell and Cucurella again, because Ben Chilwell can't stay fit and he's not good enough. And Cucurella as well, consistently, there's question marks over him. As much as I like him as a player, I think he's a good player. There's still question marks around him. His concentration levels, overlapping, But we'll speak about that as well, because it looks like Poch might have found a little solution with him, a little solution there with Cucurella. But yeah, look, Maatsen had an amazing performance yesterday, man. Like you guys can see here, look at all these stats, man. Just balling out of Sancho. It's just refreshing to see. It's refreshing to see because, again, United, over there, graveyard settings. Sancho was one of the best young players coming through at the time, man. And I remember this guy was a guy I was looking at and thinking, yo, this guy's going all the way to the top, man. All the way to the top. So much skill, so much flair, so much personality on the pitch. And then looking at him at United, just looked like a completely different player. Completely different player. And that's why environments are very, very important. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good you are. Yeah. If you're young and you're a good player and you go somewhere where the environment isn't going to help you, you won't thrive. And we've seen examples of this. We're seeing this right now with Chelsea. We're seeing this right now with Chelsea, where I'm looking at our team. These guys are not useless, but the environment that they're in, that this manager's decided to create, with the chaotic ping pong football, is not helping a lot of these guys. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy stuff, man. But listen, big up Maatsen, man, because again, from day one, I knew this guy was a baller. And I'm glad that he's proven a lot of people wrong. But unfortunately for us, it's not our club. Do you know what I mean? It's not our club, and it's not on. They need to stop doing this going forward. They really need to start giving a lot of the youth opportunities, a lot of our academy opportunities, because they're going to run out of assets in the near future. There's not going to be these guys to be selling if this keeps happening. Do you know what I'm saying? But listen, let's get into the pressers a little bit now, man, because as always, you know, there's always something new that comes out, from Poch. You know, like I've said, with the banners at the minute, I'm seeing Gallagher at the minute is going to have a banner at the game against Spurs tonight. And I couldn't believe it. Honestly, when I was looking at that, I was just disgusted. What have we become? What have we become? People cry all the time about standards FC and, oh, this guy's not good enough for the club. You're calling this player world class. This guy's been signed for X amount. What's he done this season? But then when you want to give a banner to Gallagher, what has Gallagher really done apart from improve in comparison to what we did last year? And I'm not even surprised that he improved in comparison to last year, because you've got a manager now that's building his team around him. So of course he's going to improve. If you've got a manager that likes chaotic, run around, pressure, counter press football, that's what Gallagher likes. That's what he thrives in. You know, we haven't won any trophies with him this season. He hasn't been amazing this season. You know, he hasn't really done anything special this season. All I've seen is him improve. But to me, I still look at the quality and think this is a squad player. But he deserves a banner. But then you couldn't give Kante a banner. How long did it take to give Hazard a banner? You know, why hasn't Chalobah got a banner if it's appreciation for the youth? Because that's what I keep seeing people saying. Oh, it's a representation of the owners getting rid of the youth team players. Well, then why ain't Chalobah getting one then? Mount, I heard it to an extent, because obviously he actually did all right. He did well for us actually when he first came through. Very important for us as well when we won the Champions League. So I had no beef for that. But I'm sorry, Gallagher hasn't done anything to be getting a banner. And this guy is most likely going to leave the club. Because again, yesterday, there was more reports coming out that Spurs, it's looking very likely that they're going to land him for about 50 million. Chelsea won about 50 million for him, you know? And like I told you guys before, the owners don't like that sort of profile. If Gallagher was in the market right now and didn't play for Chelsea, Chelsea would not be linked to this guy. So it's very likely that he'll be sold. But today, they're going to put out a banner for Gallagher. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. What team does he start for in the league? Maybe Liverpool under Klopp, you know, because he likes that rock and roll football. I think it would probably work over there. But who else? If you're a serious club, are you really going to try and look at Gallagher and try to build your team around him like Poch? But there's a banner for him. You know? I'm happy I'm not on the ground today. Because honestly, listen, nothing against this guy personally or anything like that. I think he's improved, like I've said. For me, he's still a squad player. The quality is just not there. But the way these lot treat this guy at games, as if he's Messi, as if he's Ronaldo, R9, as if he's Cristiano Ronaldo, it's crazy. I see this guy make so many mistakes when I'm at games, and they just look. They don't say anything. They just clap. But when it's someone else that does it, that hasn't come through Cobham, you start hearing them swearing and shouting and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? So I think it'll be good if this guy can just get moved on, because there's too many, you know, everyone's split about this guy. A lot of people are split about this guy, which to me is just mad, because he's not good enough. So I don't understand why there's so much, you know, noise around Gallagher all the time. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. And even when I think about it now, this guy's our captain at the minute. Crazy stuff. We need Reece James and that to come back quickly. Crazy stuff, man. So Sammy Mokbel came out speaking about Chelsea, and he says here, my understanding is Chelsea have not signed a single player Pochettino has asked for or recommended. And Poch has also come out saying on claims he's causing the injuries, it's disrespectful and from people bored at home using social media. Look, the first thing I want to touch upon is, you know, the fact that we haven't signed a single player that Poch wanted. Obviously, Poch wanted Ugarte in the summer. Look what's happening with him. This guy's lost his place in the starting 11. You know, he's getting benched left, right, and centre. When I've watched him, he just hasn't looked convincing. Maybe he would have looked a little bit different in a Poch system where it's chaotic and he could just break up that play. But one thing that I spoke about before we actually hired Poch, I said, yo, this guy's talent ID, I'm not sold on it. But I wasn't really too overly concerned about that, because a lot of the signings that have been made by the club. Obviously, the owner, sorry, the manager will always get a say in signings here and there, but he was never going to get the control that he might have got at Spurs at Chelsea, because again, the owners and the directors and that, they're in charge of all of that. Do you know what I mean? So he was never going to get the keys to that. Do you know what I'm saying? But honestly, it is where it is. I'm glad that he didn't get the keys to it, because this guy would have left us with 1,000,001 Gallaghers in the team, you know, because it's looking very likely that he's going to get sacked. So I'm very, very happy that he didn't get the keys to make all these transfers and that, because we've been in problems before. We've had too many players from Sarri, too many players from Conte, too many players from Tuchel, players from Lampard, all in one team. And that creates a mess. And that's why last summer we had to get rid of basically everyone, because we just had too many profiles that just mismatch and just don't work together. And it becomes hectic. Do you know what I'm saying? So Poch can hold that one because his decision-making has been poor. I keep going back to this. Santos, you know, loaning out Santos, ridiculous. Enzo right now is injured. We could have been using this guy, you know? And obviously, he's speaking about the injuries as well. You know, he said that it's disrespectful that people are saying that he's to blame for the injuries. But Poch, we've got every reason to be skeptical about how these injuries keep happening, because they keep happening in training as well as in the matches. And you've got a record, you've got a well-known record that has been spoken about by your ex-players. Your ex-players have spoken about this. Schneiderlin's spoken about this. You've got Kyle Walker that's spoken about this, how intense your training is. And you speak about running all the time. You know, and like I said, we've got fragile technical players and they keep dropping like flies. So we have to look closer to home. Because yes, the medical team isn't great. Okay. We all know that. And they need to do a massive overhaul like I've spoken about before. But you're also not great. And you're also not helping these guys. You know, with these constant bleep tests and Garcon tests. And I don't know what type of military training these guys are doing. Because it can't be a coincidence that we have so many people getting injured every other day. Every other day. I'm seeing Nkuku's training again. Do you know what I'm saying? Nkuku's training again, but I don't even get excited when I see him in training, because it's like, yo, he comes back for a game or two. Poch will stick him up top by himself and then he'll get injured again. You know, first it was his knee, then it was his hip, and then it'll be something else, his elbow or something before the end of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's about time you start to take some accountability, bro. Please just take some accountability for change. It's not hard to just say, listen, you know, we're looking at these players. We're going to try and create better solutions for them. Something where you've taken some sort of accountability and letting people know that this is not good enough. And you're clearly doing something to these guys as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's too intense. Way too intense. Then you've got a quote here from Sammy Mokbel as well. I'm not saying Pochettino is going to go and there'll be discussions at the end of the season, but if Chelsea feel they can get Ruben Amorim, then I think that that is definitely a situation that they will explore despite private jet denials last week. So it's still looking like it's hot for this guy. Still looking like it's hot for this guy, man. And like I've said, for me, there's nothing that he can do right now. Nothing that he can do right now to change my mind, because he's ruined the season for me. He's actually ruined the season for me. Yes, he's not to blame for everything, you know, with the missed chances and some of the games where I've looked at it and said, you know what, Poch wasn't even to blame today. It was on the players. But I found myself criticizing this manager one too many times for making some stupid, basic mistakes that I don't expect from someone who's got over, like I said, 15 years experience at the top level. Do you know what I'm saying? But listen, let's go into the game, man, and obviously speak about how we can deal with these guys, because again, we've got more injury news, like I mentioned earlier. Disasi and Silva, unfortunately, aren't going to be available for this game. It's annoying that Thiago Silva's out, because listen, him and Badiashile last game, solid, especially Badiashile, man. That was the Badiashile that I was seeing last season. Do you know what I'm saying? And this season, he's looked like a completely different player. Completely different player. I think he's been lower on confidence. I think, again, his fitness hasn't helped him, because he's been dropping, like another one that's been dropping like a fly start of the season. He comes back, he plays a game, he gets dropped on the bench. No consistency, no chance to build any cohesion or any chemistry there. And himself, he just hasn't been good enough. You know, I think the structure has played a big part, because, again, he's a type of player that needs to be playing in a team where the players are quite close to each other. You know, the players are quite condensed and quite compressed. But in Poch's system, everyone's playing, like I've said to you before, like they hate each other. There's too much space in between that midfield. There's not enough passing options for him. You know, the line is a little bit too deep for him. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, last game against Aston Villa, I thought he was brilliant, man. I thought that was the baddest that I was seeing last season. And it's a shame that he's not going to play next to Silva, because I actually tweeted it out that I thought Silva helped him in that game to bring that little bit of experience, that little bit of composure, like I've said, and be a helping hand. Because when he's played with Disasi, listen, it's not been good. It's like when Christensen used to play with Zuma. Those guys were just the cramp twins, and I call these lot the cramp twins now as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a shame that Silva's injured. For me, Disasi, I wouldn't have started him anyway. I think he's been poor the past few weeks. I think Chalobah's been better than him. So for this one, I'm going to say that Badiashile was going to have to pair up with Chalobah. But listen, I'll show you guys my lineup at the end. But in terms of the game, listen, how Spurs play, they play how we like playing against teams. I'll be real. They have a high line. You know, they don't have a low block. It's only really plan A that they have where they try to play it through the midfield or go wide and they'll try and create chances that way. But lately, I've seen a lot of Spurs fans complaining about how they've been playing recently and, you know, how they're struggling to break down low blocks, you know, how they're struggling from set pieces. It sounds very similar to us because at the start of the season, listen, I was looking at Ange and how they were playing and they were scoring a lot of goals, but they were quite open. So I was saying, listen, I like how he plays. I like that he's brave, but he is quite naive. And when we played Spurs, if you guys remember, they had 9 men and this guy was still playing a high line. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was going to drop that high line a little bit, you know, but he still persisted with it. And we ended up winning that game 4-1. So like you saw the other day against Arsenal as well, that high line was crazy. You had Ben Davies getting cooked by Saka, getting left by himself in dangerous positions. And that's pretty much what happens to Spurs on the counter because how they play, they want to be attacking. They want to be on the front foot and they literally push everyone forward. Do you know what I'm saying? Which I think will play in our favor. So in this game, we have to win that midfield battle. We have to win that midfield battle. Caicedo, I need another performance like how he played against Aston Villa the other day. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the Caicedo that I want to be seeing. And I keep telling people that for me, I think this guy long-term for us is going to be an 8. And that's exactly where he was playing the other day. You know, what helped him was Cucurella inverting into that midfield and acting as a spare man. And that's what we've got to do again. We need Cucurella to go into that midfield because he's not going to overlap. He doesn't like overlapping for some reason. I don't know if that's instructions from Poch because I was seeing this guy doing it at Brighton. But at Chelsea, for some reason, he doesn't like overlapping. So if you're not going to overlap, invert like you did the other day. Have a double pivot of him and Caicedo and have Gallagher pressing further up with Cole Palmer. You know, pressing from the front. That's what we need to do. And catch Spurs like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But we need to make sure that we're winning that midfield battle because Spurs' midfield, that's obviously every team's engine, but that's pretty much where a lot of their play goes through. They have Porro that will invert sometimes. Udogie, obviously, he's injured. He would invert sometimes as well, create that extra man in midfield, allow Maddison to press up a little bit further up, like what we need to do with Gallagher. Do you know what I mean? So we need to make sure that we're winning that midfield battle. And what I really need in this game, I really need my wingers to step up. Mudryk and Madueke. Madueke, amazing game against Aston Villa. Doing exactly what I've been seeing from this guy from day one, taking on his man for fun, especially in that second half. You know, he was a real driving force for us to come back in that game because people forget we was losing that game 2-0. And Cole Palmer wasn't at his best. You know, he still looks a bit sluggish. Obviously, he was ill recently. He didn't look, you know, I've seen him have better games than that. But Madueke was a driving force. And the reason why was because he was being very brave, taking on his man. And at the minute, Spurs have problems on that side. They've got Davis that's out for the season now. You've obviously got Udogie that's out. So their options on that side are going to be quite weak, whoever comes in. You've got Emerson Royale, who might play there. He's not even a left back, you know, and even if he played at right back, I would still expect Mudryk to be able to do something against him because defensively, that guy ain't great. And even if they play Van de Ven over there as well, he's a centre-back playing over there. I know it's quite quick, but look what happened last time when Jackson was running past him when we played them away. My man done his hamstring. So I need that again. I need that level of intensity again. I need both my wingers running at their fullbacks. Yeah, like Saka did the other day, because the way they play, they will leave holes in behind. They will leave spaces, and they always leave their defenders isolated one-on-one because they have such a high line and they put everyone forward. So I need to make sure that on the transition, when we win that ball back in the midfield, we're playing it straight to the wingers and we're attacking them that way. I need to see Mudryk on his bike. I need to see Madueke on his bike. I need to see Jackson on his bike as well. Do you know what I'm saying? But for me, this game is going to be won or lost in midfield, man. We need to make sure that we're winning our midfield battles. We need to make sure that we're winning our aerial duels. We need to make sure that we're switched on because Spurs will press. Gallagher in that pivot when you're playing, bro. Please just release it. One-touch football, you know. Turn when you can turn. Do you know what I'm saying? But I need to see Cucurella helping these guys in that midfield as well. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I'm kind of looking at the game, man. This is going to be a game of chaos. this is gonna be a game of chaos. Hopefully, there ain't gonna be no sending offs like that, because I think for me, I want to see 11 v 11. I don't want Patrick and these guys to come with excuses again. Oh, we had 9 men. Oh, Jackson scored a hat trick because we had 9 men. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see no excuses again. You know, but we need to make sure that we're clinical in front of goal. Again, I keep saying this. Jackson, please get me another hat trick. You know, it's a must-win game, man. It's a must-win game. We win the game, we're basically a point behind United, who are 6th right now. And they're not playing well. They haven't been playing well all season. But again, Burnley the other day, we're looking at the better team. If they had better options in the final third, they win that game. Do you know what I'm saying? This has been the story of United. And I keep going back to them because I don't want to finish behind them. I do not want to finish behind those guys. They're not good. At least with my team, I look at my team and think, yo, if these men are set up correctly and we've got personnel that aren't useless, we can do a thing. And United fans can probably say the same thing about their team, but I just don't think they have that quality the way we've got quality in this team. I'll be real. I look at a few players they've got. Mainu, yes, he's good. You know, Garnacho, potential good, but he shouldn't be starting for them United, for them weekly. Højlund, same sort of thing. He shouldn't be starting for them weekly. I don't think he's at that level yet. I think he's a good finisher, a decent finisher. But when I look at him, there's still a lot of learning to do. But then I look at their team overall, you know, Galore, he's good as well. There's not really much over there in that squad. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, so I really don't want to finish behind those guys, man. We need to make sure that we're winning today. Do you know what I'm saying? But this is the lineup that I'll go with later on today. I think Poch is basically going to do the same thing, man. I'll be real with you guys. I think Poch is going to do the same thing. In an ideal world, I don't want to start Alfie Gilchrist at right back. I'd rather start, I think his name's Pong. He looks quite good from a few clips that I've seen. Like I said, I haven't really watched a lot of the academy football like I used to back in the day. But he looks like he's quite good on the ball. He can play centre-back as well. And he's tall. So Poch likes height. And he's been on the bench on quite a lot of games this season. But again, he doesn't get opportunities to play. You know? So unfortunately, I can see this guy playing Alfie over there. So he'll play him there. Obviously, Chalobah, Badiashile pairing, Cucurella, Caicedo and Gallagher in the pivot, Palmer in the 10, Jackson up top, Madueke on the right, Mudryk on the left. And listen, I need a big game from him. Because he started last game and he was just grenade football. He kept getting the ball and just kept giving it away. So please, don't embarrass me today, please, Mikhailo. Yeah, please, I need you to do something because I can't keep defending you. If you're getting game time and you're not playing well and people say drop him, there's nothing I'm going to be able to say because you're getting opportunities and you're not showing us anything. Do you know what I'm saying? So he needs to have a good game as well. But listen, people, let me know your thoughts, man. Let me know, how you think the game's going to go, how we need to win this game, who you would start as well. And just let me know what you think about the video as well, man. But like I said, listen, I'm looking forward to the game. Spurs-Chelsea is always a game that I look forward to. It's crazy that last season, Tuchel and Conte had that passer at the start of the season. It feels like it was ages ago because it was literally at the start of the season. So yeah, this game always brings some sort of drama, man. But listen, make sure that you lot are smashing up the likes. Big yourselves up as always. Love.